I can't wait. And so what are some of those things that are just a little bit different? And before we go on to that, I just want to say Goldberg has such a reputation, and it's not just in Broadway theater. He has designed and created productions for 2 Super Bowls, the NBA, Disney, Busch Gardens, Six Flags, Miss Universe, NBC, ABC, and CBS. So when we're talking about spectacles, you, Neil, know how to make that happen. And it's exciting to see it on a smaller stage in a theater like ours because it's a much more intimate experience and you see everything so much better up close and personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honored to have been branded at some point in my career the quote unquote spectacle guy. But I love drawing audiences to the edge of their seats. I love keeping people in suspense and being able to put a smile on folks' face. And not that a straight play or a musical can't do that, but I think that there's an appreciation in the world, especially in this day and age. Not just for unity of different cultures and nationalities, but really for the commonality of creativity and imagination and what the mind can conjure and what the body can do. And that's why our company scours the planet to, go to some really faraway places and find artists that do really unique things and then bring them to our studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, appropriately entitled Dream Studios, and let them explore their imagination in conjunction with our team of creative designers. And so, the show that we'll be bringing to the Hanover has a cast of over 20 performers. They come from 12 different countries. They come from Ethiopia and Moldova and Uzbekistan and Russia and Ukraine and Australia. And each one of these artists have something really unusual and unique that they do that they started when they were kids at an early age. And because not as many cultures as ours are so supportive of diversification and being able to do as many extracurricular activities as you'd like when you're a child, these performers grow up doing the same thing every day, day after day, and realize at some point they're doing it better than anyone else in the world. And so then we get a hold of them and we start to transform them into the costumes that we want them to recreate. I mean, it's very easy to go to the State School of Contortion in Mongolia and see 150 young women present their skills of flexibility, and unbounding stretchability to us. But then we bring them here and we start to create some confinement in the costuming and teach them a different style of music and choreography and really blend them into becoming the character that we want them to portray. And that's really the true essence of theater today, is seeing someone on a stage that's trying to recreate, whether it's a speaking role, whether it's an acting role, whether it's a singing role, or whether it's a performance art role. And we blend all of that in Cirque Dreams Jungle Fantasy. That's what makes it such a unique experience.
You really do, and that's such a really great point. When you see this show, you will see people, like you said, who have been doing the same thing and really refining their technique, obviously for decades, since they could probably start to stretch and to walk. And, do you have a particular story of something that you felt was so unique and unexpected when you first saw it that you knew that you needed to bring it back here? You probably feel that way about all of them, but if you had to choose one.
Yeah. I mean, there's an artist in particular that, we have been working with for a couple of years that comes from the Ukraine. And he's a wire walker, where we suspend a wire across the stage. It's a vine that's connected to two 30-foot tall trees. And he just had a very interesting way of moving that reminded me and our designers of a spider. And so, it was too easy for us to say, oh, well, a spider crawling on a vine and creating it into a web. And so through the exploration of our design team and this individual artist's imagination, we actually created a spider web out of multiple vines. And there's one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, that goes all the way up to the 30-foot height of the proscenium. And so by the time the artist gets there, he is literally, as a spider, entwined in a web. You don't even have to stretch your imagination to conjure this, because we've created the reality of this person inside a web, and it just starts moving and twisting and balancing and is suspended in a way that's so creative and so original, but yet so impactful, because what we always try to do in our Cirque Dreams shows, especially in Jungle Fantasy, we want the audience to believe that the artistry that's being portrayed is really that of a spider or a ladybug or a grasshopper or a giraffe or an elephant. And I think that's the true testament of the passion of art and the creativity of Jungle Fantasy. It's not just coming to see a great act. People can see that on America's Got Talent. They can turn on social network and YouTube and see all of these things. And that's why we work so hard to really elevate it to a different level, so that you leave that theater with the experience that you just took a 2-hour safari on a jungle.